Hi, welcome back to another We Love Posties on Friday. It's Friday. What up, Friday?
Friday, I see you.
Mhm. We're here, and I don't have my script in front of me, but I know things. I am a therapist. This is not therapy. If you need therapy, please go find one in your area. This is fun. This is entertainment. This is us not being therapists. Okay, thanks. That's all I got for you today. It's been a week, if you can't tell.
Yes, it has.
I don't
Em
even.
is going through.
She tired.
Yeah.
But that's all right. I do want to show you something. You're gonna be excited. So this is my old boutique group. Like I put a post about our podcast in here,
Yes.
and somebody commented on it, and we really like her. Her name is Rachel.
Hey, Rachel girl.
What up, Rachel? She said, "Oh my God, I'm totally watching and tuning in. I love you too, and your energy together, like raising hands." And I was like, people. And I was like, it like literally made my day this morning. So I, of course, was like, this made my day. And she goes ahead and says, of course, on the big screen, thank you for getting me through my Friday workday. She literally streamed us to her television. Like, how freaking cute is that?
Oh, bitch, we made it now. We done made it to the big screen. We made it to Rachel's big screen. Rachel, what up, girl?
Right, like right on the Samsung. Born ready. Let's go.
Oh my God.
She said, I'm gonna put that on the TV. And I said, oh, it's love me.
We're entertaining. We are entertainment.
I mean, she said, I'm trying to get through my Friday. I know who to talk to. I know who to listen to.
Yes.
Best thing that's ever happened. I'm so excited.
I love that. No, that totally made my day. And also, Rachel, girl, tell your friends to call us up on the speak pipe. Go ahead now, Rachel. We need you.
That's it. The speak pipe, y'all. Raul and I are actually going to drop it on our socials. It's on like the actual Shades of Sanity socials. Come leave us a message, even if it's just that you love us and we're adorable. I wouldn't mind to hear it. We also want to hear your questions. If you need advice, like just hit up on that speak line, please. We want to see you on the speak pipe.
Yes.
It's really easy. You don't even have to put your name. You literally just tap the record button. It records like you're leaving a voicemail. You hit stop, and then you decide if you want to put your name and email. You don't have to. So you can stay completely anonymous if you wanted to. So it's a good time. Also, that just made our day. So if you want to tell us on socials how much you like us, I wouldn't be mad about it or nothing. Like you could just tell us.
I'd need it. You know what I mean? Like it's been a lot going on. I went to go get my hair done, and of course, it never turns out the way that I wanted to. So I'm over here adding hair and doing things. So just forgive me. But that's what would make me really happy. Just like going to get my hair done and getting it done right.
That would. It would. And seriously, guys, so like the socials, also if you're on Spotify or like Apple Podcasts, like likes, subscribes, YouTube, like just do the clickety clackety on the things, please.
Please.
We just want people to know we exist.
That's all.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is our sparkly news of the day. Thank you, Rachel. We love you.
Love you, Rachel girl.
Let's talk about the rest of this week because it's been a heavy week. I want you guys to know that like we normally we're supposed to start recording at 2. It's currently 2:45 because Raul and I had a whole conversation before the conversation because if you know us, that's us. But it's been a week and we were just, you're going to see this a month out because we record ahead of time. #prepared. But this is currently just a heavy week in our country.
It is. There is. There is a lot. So I don't even know because I'm out of I've not been tuned into socials or the news. It's too much for me and I can't handle it. So I didn't know what was going on, but we have since lost Charlie Kirk. And it's unfortunate when these situations happen and it's because he was so polarizing. Then the conversation gets to be a pointing of fingers and who was wrong and so on and so forth. And so I told Em, like, I'll take the lead on this one.
Yeah.
And have this conversation. I'm starting a series where I just want to have uncomfortable conversations.
We love that for you. We love that for me too.
Yeah.
Because it's important. You got to be able to have the uncomfortable conversation.
For sure. For sure. And so I just want to start out in saying RIP to, this man who was so polarizing. in this country, we should be able to say whatever it is we want to say, to go wherever it is that we want to go, and not worry about our lives being taken from us. That's just wrong. That kind of fear that is being instilled is problematic. That is how we lose our sense of being and community and whoever we think we are. If we're Americans, we talk about being American and being so great. We are too polarized. We're on opposite sides of the spectrum, and it is time for us to come together. How can we come together when we're so polarized? Well, we've got to decide on one thing that we can all rally around. And I think that that one thing that we can rally around is safety. And I think there needs to be a great opposition to gun violence. Period. End of discussion. The fact that Charlie Kirk was killed in a mass shooting, someone killed him. There was a mass shooting earlier or that day, but Charlie's just was a bigger news cycle. So there was 65 so far this year. We were alive during the time of the first one at Columbine.
Mhm.
So we're not talking about 40 years later.
And
We
we're
are talking
talking like just school shootings, like not
right,
even expanding outside of that, the gun violence that happens every day in this country. We're talking
right.
just school mass shootings.
Absolutely. And that's a problem. And the fact that we are no longer outraged by it is a problem. So I just think we have been here before. We've seen it. We don't want this to be a George Floyd moment. What do I mean by that? And so hear me. I'm coming from the best place possible. I don't think that we want someone who was so polarizing being raised up as a martyr for where it is we want our country to go, because his values and ideals um were not something that brought about peace and unity. And that's really what we need to do right now. So if we're going to have a conversation about it, the conversation should be, what do we do? How do we make it better? And how do we make it better? We have to put our differences aside. We have to start looking at each other for the similarities. That's what we have to see. That comes from an asset based approach. That's a place of good. If I can see me in you, then I'll think you're just as good as I am. Right? Like from that place. Because if we pay attention to the differences, we're starting off at a deficit because we're trying to see who's better than the other. Let's start with, we're the same. Where can we find commonality?
And my thing is, everyone is so worried about, for within reason, right? The extremists, the ones who only want hate, who only want division. But with what you're saying, Rel, what if people start coming together for commonalities? The people who are the most problematic, they gonna stick out like a sore thumb.
Yes.
You're gonna see them. You're gonna be able to identify them.
Yes.
And I don't know, I'm curious because I have thoughts on this, but I was curious how you felt as well. Like my Facebook right now is mostly people who are like, rest in peace, picture of Charlie. And then it's people in the comments being like, I'm happy he's dead. Or I cannot believe that you're going to stand here and mourn someone who hated people who look like me, who said these terrible things, or promoted and okay, and like trying to. And then there's the other side who are like, it's disgusting that you're happy somebody died. So you have these polar opposites, and I'm curious, kind of how your brain takes all of that in.
I think two things can be true at once. I really am trying a both and approach and not a either or. I
We are
think yeah, like at the very bottom baseline, I think no one should be killed because of their beliefs.
Mhm.
And he had young children, like all of the things. He did not deserve to die with all of his polarizing views.
Yeah,
I also can acknowledge that people were hurt by the things that he said, and they do not find it in their heart to have compassion for his situation.
yeah. I feel the same way. I also sit in this place that's like, it's giving eye for an eye for me. And I have to understand, like me speaking for myself personally, I have to always sit and understand where my bigger reactions are coming from. If I'm having a big reaction, I have to go, okay, am I having that big reaction because I actually feel that way?
Right.
Or am I just angry? Or am I just hurt and it's coming out in this very aggressive, maybe hurtful way? Because I do think there are probably people who are saying things like this, who are posting those memes about him being dead, and they don't normally ever wish and
Death
hope,
on someone, correct.
and also are feeling really angry and hurt and not knowing how to express that appropriately.
Absolutely. So, as a Black woman in America, I feel like, and this is just my perspective, I feel like nowhere in the world is it okay to be Black American. Like, people want to disassociate and do not want to be associated with us at all, through even throughout the diaspora, which I think is really funny because, like, we're cousins. Y'all stop. Um, so I understand the pain and the hurt because we do know and understand that there are two Americas. There's an America for white people, and there is a privilege to being white and being able to assimilate into the
Yeah,
greater population. That just is a thing.
for sure.
And doesn't mean that just because you're white, you now have wealth. That's not the same. That's not what
Mhm.
I'm saying, but I'm saying there is a privilege that you get to have. And I know you get this, but for people who hear privilege and they get really
They get really
funny about the word because they're like, I'm not rich, I don't have anything. And I'm not saying that, but there's a privilege to not having to have certain experiences that
Mhm.
Black people, especially, so I'll say people of color, but Black people especially, that they have. You don't have to endure that. You get to live your life without the weight of knowing that kind of America. When we say privilege, that's what we mean.
Yeah.
So I do understand the anger sometimes because as Black people, we don't always get to voice our opinions, or we don't get to behave in a manner that we see our counterparts behave in and get rewarded for
Yeah.
or get punished for. So I
Mhm.
can understand where that hurt comes from. However, like you said, at the end of the day, I don't know that that's truly how people who are hurting, if they really feel like, if they really feel it, because also Charlie Kirk is so far removed. It's not like he was my neighbor, you know what I mean? So I might feel differently, like, damn, my neighbor was an asshole, but you know what? He ain't deserve that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I also think there's this piece for me that also sits in, like, I hope there's at least a group of people who are trying to sort that out and figure that out, because it makes me really sad to think that we are sitting in a place where people are like, I hope you die and mean it. Because where do we start drawing those lines? Where,
Exactly
where,
that.
does, where does the line draw? Because I don't
There
know
isn't one.
point. You know what I mean? It's very much giving eye for an eye. And that makes me nervous.
Exactly that. And so, just like there's a light to something, there's a shadow. When you start going that far, for all the things that we talk about in other countries, right? And the way that they fight and the way they can't get along and so on and so forth, are we not becoming that ourselves, America, if that's where we've gotten? If there's a world that exists that I can't say what I want to say. Now, some people would say, don't we feel that way about Medgar Evers or Martin Luther King or, Malcolm X, that they, could not speak freely and they were killed? Yes, there is a world that exists, but again, just because it happened there, now this has happened. So what happens if they come and take out someone else that we
And
think?
that's what I mean, like, how do we stop?
Exactly.
If
We
it was
don't.
wrong on this end, it also has to be wrong on this end, even if
Correct.
you agree. It very much reminds me of the ACLU, because they take cases very much based on, the law. That's the end of the conversation. And they have, taken cases for people who were, flying a Trump flag, and somebody was ripping it down and destroying it, because they are allowed to do that. And it's not because they align with those values, it's because this is the way the law is written. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I 1000 and 400% agree that what's good for the goose is good for the gander. But I
Mm.
gotta say this, and this is also like a little,
Oh,
I say what's good for the goose is good for the gander, except for one thing. And here's where it gets a little funny for me, and I'm laughing, but it's not even that funny, but I'm I guess a little nervous. This whole Drewski thing about being in whiteface. So Drewski is a black comedian,
we were going to talk about this. I'm so happy we're transferring in. Yes, yes, yes. Explain
and
to people in case they
so
don't.
yeah, so he makes fun of everybody. Drewski makes fun of everybody. He makes fun of Asians. He makes fun of the LGBTQ community. Like he makes fun of everyone, black folks, white folks, everything. He makes fun. And so he pretended to be a NASCAR, like in the NASCAR community.
Yeah.
And he goes to Florida and he's painted his body fully white, even with a farmer tan. And
So
the
fun.
white people
Oh,
are
they're
upset.
mad. I'm sure they're mad.
They
I
are mad, mad.
remember you tell me, but it's just my algorithm hasn't apparently swung that way, but I'm sure they're mad. Yeah.
Oh, they're big mad and there are a lot of think pieces and so on and so forth. And so I have really been wrestling with the use of this word in blackface and like why is that the hill? Like why is that something that white people just cannot say? Why can't they have that? And the reason really is very simple, slavery. Like that's it. It's
I was
slavery.
gonna say because I was just like, it's for me. I very when I can't remember. I think it was at Western Connecticut. Shout out, you were Dumpster Fire College. Um, oops, my bad. I told you we're having a Friday. I was in a class that was terrible, and it was actually one of the reasons I ended up transferring to Marist because I was like, why am I driving all the way out here for this terrible experience? And I had to do a presentation. I don't even remember what this class was on, but I had to give a presentation, and it ended up being a conversation about um, white people being able to say the N word. And that wasn't the conversation, but somebody from the back of the class asked me that. And it was a group of black men, and they were, so what do you think about ba ba ba? And I said, no. And they went, well, why? Is that what you're saying it because you're in front of me? And I said, no, I'm saying it because I don't get a vote. He was like, what do you mean you don't get a vote? I said, it wasn't my experience.
Right.
It
Right.
wasn't my experience. I didn't live it.
Right.
Your experiences are not my experiences. So how am I going to take something that wasn't mine and say, this is how it's going to work for me? It's
Right.
not mine. I'm
Yeah.
going to pass you the gauntlet on that, and you go and tell me what the rules are. And I'm sure there are plenty of things that within my bias and within my privilege that I don't even realize I already have all the gauntlets for, and I get to make the rules on
Right.
because of the color of my skin.
Right.
And that is one, as well as blackface.
Right.
That's not mine.
Exactly.
You make the rules.
That's it, Emily, beautifully put, because that was it. I was like, what's the language that I could give? And I think sometimes as black folks, we go just cause we said so. And I don't think that we're able to give an answer. And
No.
that's why I think people then are like, what is it? And because we can't articulate it. So I found the words to articulate it, which is this. We understand that trauma changes lives, it changes generations. Like in your DNA, it affects you. It can
Mhm.
affect the lineage of my children because of the effects that I'm having because somewhere my great great grandma was an enslaved individual and what she bore because of that.
Yep.
So the word is weighted and you can only say it if you have been affected by the weight of that word. My ancestors suffered because of it, because of the thought process of it. I get to say it and I get to determine if you, and when I'm uncomfortable with you saying it, I get to tap you and go tap, tap, tap. Sorry, I'm sorry. That word, it makes me uncomfortable for you to use it, period. And that's one thing you have to respect, not you should respect it.
Yeah.
Um,
And I feel
because
like
of my experience.
they, as the white person in the room, if you want things ever to get better, it should be a got, not a should.
Exactly.
You gotta do it. That's the only way
Exactly.
we go from here. And I feel the same way about other things, right? Like while you were talking, I also thought about like sexual abuse and there was lots of conversations around law and safety, and even when you go to get a kit after, making sure that person feels safe and the person in the room is someone that they feel safe with, and that maybe it's not a male doctor if it's a
Right.
female victim.
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
lots of people are like, "Well, this is the only doctor we have on staff." But we started listening to the people who had the experience,
Right.
and they told you what felt okay.
Right.
That's where
Absolutely.
treating people like human beings comes in. You hear
Absolutely.
the person who had the experience, and we move accordingly.
I agree 1000%. And right,
It's
there are some things that like I have not experienced and I don't want to cause any hurt or pain to someone who's already experienced hurt and pain. It's already a touchy subject. The wound, it's already been it's there and there might be a band-aid on it, but there might not be and I don't want to go, "What's this?" with
okay,
my
so we have shoved.
infected hand. Yeah, like come on. And
Yeah.
that's what we're doing when we begin these conversations. I want to say it just cuz. No.
Yeah, and I
No.
also think it swings in this way too, where they're like, "Well, it's not a perfect system. One person can be with it and one person isn't." And I'm like, "Yeah." Which is why there might be a little bit of grace that needs to be thrown all around, right? If you're
Absolutely.
interacting with someone for the first time and they make a mistake, have a conversation.
Absolutely. I
State
agree 1000%.
Set your boundaries, be upfront and consistent and real, but have a conversation.
That part.
You know what I mean?
And
Like, we have to
yeah,
communicate better with one another and not immediately deem someone one thing or another. Yes, there are exceptions to that rule, of course. Wildly outrageous behavior is unacceptable, and we can all name those things, right?
yep,
But I feel the same way about pronouns. I feel the same way,
yep,
like, just
absolutely.
have a conversation
Same,
with me. Have a conversation with me.
same.
I'm so
I can
flexible.
yeah, because I can disagree with you and it not be from a bad place. So, like, E and I were having a conversation about, of course, immigration's a really big to do. And he was saying, and we were talking about some Mexicans. I don't even and I
Yeah,
don't wanna feel like it's uncomfortable to say. So, we're having a conversation about hiring Mexicans, and I was like, "Yo, they are some of the best workers. I would hire them any day of the week, like, at times too." And so, he was saying he's like, "Yeah," because I was kinda like, "Well, why don't you?" And he was like, "I would love to." He goes, "But I can't." And I go, "Right? Like, why not?"
yeah,
And so he says if English is their second language, some of the nuance gets mixed up in my dealings and what we're doing. He was like, that's why it would make it hard for me. And so that I understood, right? And I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. So he's not saying I can't, and he's not saying no to all Mexicans. He's just saying I don't hire more because in the range that I need them to pay
yeah.
them in that range, a lot of them English is their second language, and I need them to have a full, clear
Communicate
understanding
well,
of the
like,
language so
people.
that things don't get lost in translation. So, and I was like, that's a prime example. Some people, if they heard him say, well, I can't hire, and then, oh my goodness, and he is this, and he's not. He's just saying some things. And it just opened my eyes to some reasons aren't always, it's not bad. The reason why this thing doesn't work isn't because it's coming from a place of
Yeah.
deficit. It's just that it just doesn't work for me because of X, Y, and Z. It has nothing to do with what we think it has something to do with.
And I also feel like it's the perfect reminder for me that, like, everything is so fluid.
Yeah.
Everything is always in motion and everything is shifting.
Yes.
And how something looks or seems or appears or shows up today might look different next week.
Correct.
I am so focused on only things being the way that I have always seen them and always known them. I am going to consistently be being pushed into really uncomfortable situations. And if I'm not open to that shift, I'm going to be really frustrated or scared or angry and have these reactions that are probably not helpful for me or the other people I'm dealing with.
Correct. And I think like that's why I think we just have to have this both and perspective, but I think we also got to be real about like some of the things that are going on. Again, I think that we are more alike than we are than we are not alike, which is I think that the right want us to look a certain way and feel like the left want us to think a certain way. And none of that being correct. And there are more of us in the middle that are
Mm.
like, yeah, I could give on this, I could accept that. Like, but there are some hard and fast lines that, and I just got to be honest. I hate to, so here we are. We're doing it. I'm sorry, Em.
You good?
The Democrats, y'all, we are losing. Okay. Hello. Is this thing on? Hello. Excuse me. We are losing. And this conversation and what we're doing, we don't have a strategy. They are bulldozing us. This, when they go low, we go high shit. It ain't working. And I'm not saying we got to go fisticuffs, but I'm saying we got to have some uncomfortable conversations. We got to go play ball, because what's at stake with this democracy? While people were like, I'm not going to vote, I don't like either candidate. Okay. And then you see what we got. We are fighting. Like, listen, I probably can't have kids at this point, but if I needed to get an abortion, I want to be able to have one. My body, my choice. Like, and these are some of the things we're losing.
Yeah. And for me, it's like, I mean, if we're just saying reckless shit on the internet, like, the way I would throw out the parties altogether.
Exactly. I'm fine with that.
Tomorrow, I'm so over it. I don't know. I can't remember who it was. So a medical professional that I like always says to me, like, he thinks it's such a joke because he feels like it's very pinning everyone's get. He's like, and then they go have lunch in the same cafeteria.
Correct.
They're all up at Capitol Hill and they go have lunch at the same cafeteria.
Absolutely.
So for me, I just like want to toss it out because I think a lot of people, because lives look so much more complex than they did 50 years ago. The amount of people that just want to stand on, I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican, like they want to be like, I'm a Giants or a Jets fan.
Absolutely.
And they know nothing
That's
about
what
what's actually on the table. Like, I don't want that to be the scapegoat anymore. I just want you to have to know what people stand for. And I also feel like there needs to be a better system to hold
people accountable
who say they're going to do one and then swing another way and do something totally different. Because you are an elected official. I elected you to do what you said. And when you didn't, why is that just, you mean, you don't claim to be like a political guru in any way, shape, or form.
correct.
However, I am a legal voting age adult with a master's degree. And I have a brain and use it and can follow context clues. And when someone says they're going to do A and they actually do, X, Y, Z, because they ain't even nowhere near what I want, I have a problem with that.
Well, and that's exactly what I'm saying. I think that if we followed, I've got a plan. Like, if you want to hear, so let's go somewhere. I think that just like fucking American Idol, that's how we should choose our next president. I think we should put whoever wants to run, you have to submit an essay. Like, you have to answer X number of questions that we're going to ask you. Where do you stand on this? Real plain layman's terms. And we're just going to have a voting system until we get the candidate that we like. So if it's 25 of you motherfuckers, well, then we're going to vote to get it down to
and I also, what I also want? I want them to use FBI, CIA, AI, whatever we got. I want to know everything.
Run that background check.
I want you to run the deepest of checks. I want to know.
Right.
I want to know what kind of porn his second cousin liked. I want to know it all. I want to know it all.
Yeah.
Because
I want to make an informed decision.
And that's the thing. It's not a judgment thing, right? Like, I want all of the information because everyone is a human being. And I'm over this fakeness, we're going to call it, of putting people up on a pedestal and pretending like we don't all do the same things.
Listen, we have such an obsession with the rich and famous. We have an obsession with them.
And like, when did I feel like everyone's gonna laugh at me, but I don't feel like this system being in politics was created to get rich. I think it was created because you wanted to serve your community and you wanted to be a voice. Now we're in this place where it's like, this is what I do to make sure that my children's children don't have to work a day in their life.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. Why is it in social work, it's almost taboo to say that you want to go into private practice, that you want to charge something like, $400. People will fall over, the old guard, fall over themselves. What? You came into this for money? How dare you? We say the same thing to our teachers. When teachers say, I just want to be paid fairly. What? You want to be paid fairly? You're a teacher. You don't get that. But we don't bat an eye about salespeople and Wall Street. We don't bat, and they don't have to have nearly the education that we have to have. They get to get a simple old piece of bachelor's or get plugged in from Nate Mans and them. But
Mhm.
yet we've got to go do internship hours for free, I might add.
For free.
And then I come out and you got a job offering me $60,000 a year. That ain't putting a dent in this work that I've done, and the bills that it's gonna, the money, the loans that I have to pay back because you said I had to have it to do this thing. So
Mhm.
if that's what you charge, and that's the belief system that you have for people who are in public service, it should be that way for all public service, including
Yep.
these people in Congress. Because let me tell you something else. What's good when I say what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I want the health care of Congress. I want that health insurance plan.
Uh-huh.
I want to work at a job for 2 years at minimum and get health care, free health care, the best free health care for the rest of my life. Give me that.
Mhm.
I'll take it, please. 2 of them, as a matter of fact.
It's just the budget they have to redo their offices. Have you seen those numbers?
No, I haven't.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Hundreds of thousands.
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Don't tell me that we can't afford, nobody can afford to have Medicaid, and you just spent $200 million redecorating the ballroom or a dining room or something, or that you spent 250 million to have a parade.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, so that's not me with beef with any particular person, because if there were Democrats that did the same thing, um and they all are in there too long. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, all they asses need to be dead. The fact that if I follow apparently Nancy Pelosi's investing schedule, I'll be a millionaire next week.
Yeah, it's wild. And
So
that's what right,
yeah,
like,
they're
it's
both on the same
accountability.
side.
You know what I mean? It's the accountability. It's the accountability of, like, I want to it should be more, and not in a way that, like, affects their safety,
No,
but that I voted them in to do the job for me.
I
Just
want
like I hired you to do my investments, and you're my
exactly
investment banker, I would be able to see what you're doing with my money.
right, and no more of this electoral college. Put that out. Every one person, one vote. And if we believe that that's how people get chosen on American Idol and America's Next Top Model and who
I work
can,
at Kelly, so
you know what I mean? Like, come on, like enough of this. And again, I want everybody, we should have to do, we live in the age of Zoom. Everybody will send in their interview and it's going to play on loop for 24 hours. You want to know what the candidates are up to, what they're thinking about? Go over there. Let's just ask the question and they're going to answer it and it's just going to play on a loop. Same thing for that goddamn Supreme Court. I think Trump came.
if you're falling asleep while they're in session, you gotta go. You gotta go.
I think that what Trump did, I think Trump came to expose all the ways in which our systems are able to be manipulated.
Mhm.
So we now know you should never have a lifetime appointment anywhere. That's just period. And the Supreme Court, no different. Everybody, term limits, everybody.
Oh,
Everybody's got term limits.
because how do you hold well, everyone's a human being. How do you hold anybody accountable? I'm not just saying like these corrupt people. All humans. If you know it's yours and you don't gotta do shit, are you gonna show up and do it? Real
Right.
the way you did day one, you're not.
No.
You're gonna justify it. You're gonna have and not and we expect everyone to be perfect, but there's gotta be, and that's what I mean. We set systems up to confuse, to scare, to overcomplicate, so people go, "Oh, fuck, somebody else will deal with it."
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so like we have to do better. We have to get better. And listen, here's the message. If I don't got nothing else, it is this. Um they're trying to scare us on purpose. If you keep us in fear, it's easier to control us. But if we are, very certain of ourselves, very sure that everything's going to be okay because we believe in our community, we've got to build our community. And our community can take care of one another. There's more than enough for all of us. There is. Like, legitimately, I went to the grocery store this morning. I bought grapes. These grapes were almost as much as the damn chicken. The chicken was $7.47. I promise you the grapes was over $6.
I
And
know,
that was on sale because they would have been $12 and some change for grapes.
I know.
That's not an immigrant issue. That's not a I'm black issue. That's not a I'm woman issue. That is our politicians not giving a fuck about the way in which we are going to care for ourselves. Grapes in this country should not cost just as much as chicken, period.
And my thing is, it just comes down to, and again, like, I'm not trying to take away the free market. I'm not trying to, I understand, like, you know what I mean? There is the ability to charge, but the systems have allowed certain groups of people to
Thank
run
you.
away that they with whatever they want.
Thank
And
you.
they just, because my thing is, they're always like, oh, it's the gas, it's the whatever. But when the gas goes back down, the groceries don't. So
Right.
explain that to me. If it's the oil price, well, the oil price is down. Why didn't my groceries go down?
Right.
They just went, oh, they're willing to pay it. Well, we gonna stay there.
Exactly.
Based in great.
Arizona for 30 years has made tea that costs 99 goddamn cents, period. Let's just
Mhm.
period. 99 cents for 30 years. So that tells you that they just choose not to.
Yep. Yep. That's
And that is the problem. That's not about anything other than it's the rich people. It's not they told us, look down, it's the lower class, it's the poor people, it's the immigrants, it's the blacks, it's this, it's that. It's none of those things. It's them. And as long as they are pointing the finger and we're believing it, then
yeah.
we are going to be fucked.
And you know what I think? I think there's this piece too where we're it's always going to be a mixed bag, right? Because people are human beings. So like when people talk about the welfare queen, does
That was
that,
started by Ronald Reagan, PS, and Reagan was one of the worst presidents ever.
you know what I mean? Like, wrong, terrible, not a thing that should be talked about, not a thing that should be believed. And also, there are plenty of people of all colors who take advantage of the welfare system. But that doesn't mean that outweighs the need or the want of the people who actually receive welfare
Right.
and should be able to get it. And I would say the same thing as someone who comes from a higher class, wealthier white family, that not all rich people do the wrong thing.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So, like,
Correct.
we would stop
Correct.
looking at everything as this big, oh, well, you know what I mean? Like, this
Right.
whole group is the problem. You know what I mean? Like, you're saying they're pointing down, and then there's a group of people pointing totally up. And I know that you understand this because we've had this conversation before, but just
Yeah.
for people listening, like, dig deeper, ask more
Yes.
questions,
Please.
look at things with a new lens, have
Yes.
conversations, be
Yes.
open to new information.
Please. Please. And absolutely, like, E makes a considerable, amount of money, more money than I've ever thought I could make.
Yeah,
And excuse me, he shared with me his tax bill. It was more than I make in a year. So, and that's not anything he should be able to enjoy the fruit of his labor. He worked hard. He should be able to enjoy it. I agree with that. And that's what you're saying, like, and he's not a bad guy and there's nothing wrong, but
yeah,
also I think sometimes we dismiss the people that make that and we're like, they don't have it that bad. If more than half of your paycheck that you worked for went to the government or whatever, you'd have those same feelings, you would, period.
yeah,
And
yep,
so we have to have compassion for other people in situations, quote unquote, better than ours. And again, that's because we're obsessed with money, but that's because they told us you have to have X number of dollars in order to live the American dream. You want to live good, you got to make this amount of money.
yeah. I was just looking at something the other day that was like the original like boasting of that, and it was all about like the American dream. You got to get the refrigerator, you have to get the car, you have to, and it has always been based in these things that you had to buy, and if you couldn't afford them, you weren't living the American dream.
Absolutely.
And
We
it's so
don't
tinted.
Yeah, like we don't even talk about Christmas was about shopping. It was about consumerism. It was about making corporations more money. Diamonds as engagement rings. That was a ploy. That was an advertising ploy that De Beers did. How are we going to get them to buy these damn diamonds? Because when you try to resell a diamond back, baby, it's worth pennies on the dollar, and they get to control the influx. But that's the thing. So they give us this, and then we hold on to it like it is the truth, and it's not. If you investigate a little bit more, again, you'll find we're more similar than we're not. And most of it is the corporations just want the big dollars, and it's the corporations. It's not us. It's not John Q Public or Jane Q Public. It's it's the corporations that want all your money, and
Yeah.
capitalism only survives that way. And now we're in so bad. They're already selling water. They're going to start selling air.
Yep.
The fact, really quick, this I'm done. But like, I went to buy ice cream. Breyers had like a no additives
Mhm.
selection or whatever, and
Mhm.
that cost more. So wait a minute. You're going to charge me more money because I want less bad things in
Yep.
my body.
Yep. Mhm. So I organic customer.
Terrible.
Mhm.
Terrible, terrible, terrible. So like,
Again, I just want to, I'm going to speak for both of us and you can tell me I'm wrong if you'd like, but I feel like I'm not. We are not sitting here saying that it's like this, and this, it'll all be fixed. Like that is not what we're saying. We are aware because we live here and are doing this, that this is very complex.
yes,
It's why we started this conversation saying that like there needs to be less yelling and finger pointing and more coming together. I think earlier when we were talking about this, you referred to it as like a punch list.
yes,
Like these are the things we need to go through and talk about and talk about it until we find a solution. Like
yes, yes,
because it is complicated and it's different for everybody's experiences, right? And
yes,
I'm sure there's going to be somebody at certain points of this are going to be like, well, I agree with this, but I don't agree when you said that. And that's fine, babe.
yes.
Not because we're right and you're wrong or you're right and we're wrong, but because you have different experiences than we did. So
Correct.
your point is different.
Yes. And we want to hear your viewpoint. We don't want to dismiss it. We think it's important, just like what we're saying. We feel like it's important. That's why we're saying it. So we're okay to have the difficult conversation, because just because it's difficult doesn't mean it's wrong, doesn't mean it's bad. It means it's difficult. And that we can't get through it, we can, but we have to have it so that we can move forward.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
cuz what we're
agree.
doing, we're staying stuck and we're regressing, and this ain't helpful.
It just feels like we're in quicksand and
Yeah.
the faster we paddle, the more we're sinking. That's like the visual I had when
Yeah.
this was happening. And Devin was like, I accidentally saw the video. And I went, nope, nope, nope,
Yeah.
can't need it. Because I had to sit still for a sec and go, okay, how do I feel? How do I acknowledge the and the but? And I made a video on social that I think you commented on, and other people may have seen, that was just like I literally had to sit down and think of all of the things, the regular things in my life that were good,
Yeah.
because I needed to balance the hard.
Yeah.
Because the reality is with your brain that if you tunnel vision on anything too good or too bad, and you can't expand out, it's not good for you. You can't
Absolutely.
make decisions, you can't communicate effectively.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I did comment. One of the things was, running into a good friend that you haven't seen in a while, and just kind of troping through, memory lane for a little bit. That always feels good. So yeah.
Mhm. For somebody, I thought I was too tired for this conversation, but apparently I was not.
You
45.
powered through, sis. Look at you. Go M.
Apparently I just had things to say. It happens like that. Um,
Yes.
but real quick, I mean, there's no way to transition out of that other than that, like
No,
when we see you and like we're in it with you.
we're in it with you.
Transition to something much lighter.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So I have Am I the Asshole?
Live.
And it says, Am I the asshole for refusing to lie to my boyfriend's friends and family about my job? I'm a party princess, which means I dress up as fictional princesses and women and have a catalog of people to pick from when they book me on what characters they want. It's a job that I love and I make really good money. And over the pandemic, I began to do Zoom calls, was more one-on-one and lasted about 40 minutes. I've been doing this for 2 years and it's a job I intend to continue as long as I can and because it's very fulfilling for me. And my boyfriend of 7 months, however, is rather embarrassed by this job and doesn't want me to be open with his family and friends about the job, as feels like it makes me look childish or I lack prospects, which is quite irritating as I make more money than him with this job. And I'd never throw that into an argument with him. Instead, I asked him why it mattered if why it mattered if they thought it was childish, and he asked me to just do this for him and to say I work somewhere more normal. I don't like lying, and it's upsetting to me that he wants me to do this, but he told me it's not like I can do this job forever, which I do know, but while I do it, I don't see why I should be ashamed. Should I keep the peace and tell a little fib?
Girl, leave that man today, right now. It's over. Like,
Thank
it's over. He
Yeah.
You cannot be with someone he's embarrassed about parts of you, and that just period. So it's not a match. This is a red flag. No, you don't need to stay in this. You are misaligned, you are mismatched. This is not a good match. No, you shouldn't. If he met you this way and he liked you enough to for y'all to be dating or whatever, then he shouldn't be trying to change you or anything about you.
And see, here's the thing. I don't even think he's really embarrassed of her. I think he doesn't have self-esteem. Because if you have self-esteem and you're with somebody who has a weird hobby or a different kind of job or whatever, you gonna stand on all 10 toes and say,
Absolutely.
she likes it. What about it?
Exactly.
But he
It's
can't.
her thing, she loves it, it brings her happiness, and you know what? She makes really good money doing it.
Can we talk about that? She's a better human than me because I've been like, I'm sorry, this thing you're embarrassed of. What was your paycheck last week? Like
Exactly.
I'm that girl through and through. Mm-mm, mm-mm. You shouldn't
Just
have to lie to people. You shouldn't have
exa
to lie to people.
exactly, and that's really the thing. Are you lying to your family? Like, that's the thing, even with, me getting on the internet and telling, all my business, but that was the thing. I can stand in what it is that I'm doing. I didn't lie to my family, so I damn sure ain't gonna lie to no stranger for what? Why? Who are you?
And my thing,
And
it's
yeah, no,
2025. You're gonna lie, someone's gonna find out. And then you're not gonna be the girl who dresses up as a princess for money, which
you're gonna
like
be a
good
liar.
for you making little kids happy.
Exactly. You're
Who
going to be a
cares?
liar. And you're not going to feel good about having to come back out. And here's the thing, one lie, you got to tell another one to cover it. So now when they think, and you're gonna just you could be excited, oh, I got booked for it, da, 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 and they're gonna go, who, what? I thought you. And
Yeah.
so no, you're gonna lose your credibility, and he's asking you to lose your credibility or put your credibility on the line to make him comfortable. Like you said, this ain't even about you, it's about him. He's embarrassed to be with someone who can follow their heart's desire and make good money at it. That's the fucking dream. Are you
I
kidding
mean,
me?
the fact that she was COVID, transitioned to Zoom and was doing one-on-ones, like, you're an entrepreneur. You're a queen. Goodbye. And I don't even like that. He's like, just get a normal job. What is a normal job?
Exactly, something you hate. And as I'm saying, like, she has hit the jackpot. You make a decent living doing exactly what you want to do, the way that you want to do it. Girl, don't you leave that job. You know what I mean? Like,
My thing is,
no.
I don't know if she's working for a company because this is where my brain goes, right? But I don't know if she's working for a company or has her own. Like, girl, you've owned this. Yeah, I guess at some point you won't be able to do it for sure, but you could start your own company and start
And
hiring
hire somebody
girls,
else to do it.
managing these girls. This is a booming business. You want people
Exactly.
to spend it on children's birthday parties?
Okay.
Come on now,
And
come
I'm
on.
about to call her up, like, sis, put me on. What I gotta be? Who I gotta dress up as?
Hmm. So yeah, he's not for you, girl.
Leave him. But I
No,
think this is also, and because here's the other part. So right, we looking at it from, his shadow, but let's look at her shadow. That
yeah.
why would you be with somebody and
And that's the thing,
consider.
the other 7 months. And I don't know if he just started doing this, but it sounds like it's been for a hot sec. Because
Yeah,
I'm sure in the 7 months you've met people, friends, and they didn't ask, "Oh, what do you do?" And you're
and
like,
that's the thing. So she's with someone while he's severely insecure, she's with somebody who
"You
seemingly
really
is
want
questioning her worth,
yeah.
and that's a mirror for her. So that's I think sometimes when people go, "How? Why are you with that person?" Because they see you as having so much potential and that other person not having that much potential or not being that good, they go, what are you doing with him? And that's because who he is or who that partner is to you is how you feel about yourself. You could be on top of the world, like for instance, a little Bravo, Real Housewives. Sheree was dating this dude Tyrone. He was in jail when she was talking to him. Sheree had this big, fantastic, fabulous house. Sheree was all about her munyan. She looked good, that bodied. She's a pretty in the face. Like sis had it together. And you were with this person who's still in jail, and everybody was like, "What? Why?" And he stood you up, girl. And you know why? Because that's what Sheree thinks of herself. That's all she thinks she's worth is that Tyrone. So
Yeah. And my
same for
thing
this
is like,
girl.
I also want to shout out too that like I can say those things with, you know what I mean? Because again, this is not therapy.
Right.
And I can be like, because this is for entertainment. And also still see the fact that like I know he's not all bad. You wouldn't
Absolutely.
be here if he was all bad.
Correct.
You made it past the first date, right? I see that you clearly see there's potential there. But my and also Ralph's recommendation at this point is when someone says to you, I'm ashamed of this thing you do that you are really proud of and love, it would take a whole lot of work to work past that. And I don't and he would have to wanna do it, and I'm not sure that he does based on how he's acting, because I'm sure you've said to him, because it says you've had arguments about it, that you love this job, that you care about this, and it sounds like he didn't bat an eye.
Right. And that's why I'm also saying I need her to go look at her work and ask the question, why do you stay with someone?
Yeah.
Why is that? Because that's where you're at. You're looking at the potential and how to move forward with him. And it from where I sit, it looks like you're struggling to fit your triangle into his circle.
Yep.
And my question for you is, why are you doing that?
Yeah, why?
Yeah. And that's about you because it ain't about him because he told you what it is. He told you what he's got going on. And he might not be aware of it. So we have his work that he needs to do. He needs to inspect why that's so troubling to him and why he wants her to lie. And she's got to inspect within herself, why am I with someone who's asking me to compromise in a way I don't want to?
Mhm. I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you do your work. That's how you look at your situation and go, does this make me feel good? And sometimes they're not always bad. Sometimes our partners are our mirrors for the work that we have to do. So when you go, this thing is bothering me, you got to ask yourself, why is that bothersome to me? Where do I feel that in my body? What comes up? And
Yep.
when you get curious and you go down your road and you start to ask your questions, you'll come up with the answer.
You certainly will. All right, Riley.
I
You
think
good?
that's it. I think we got it. I think that was enough.
I was gonna say when we do 30 minutes and they're 53, you're welcome. A little extra juice.
Right. We just trying to, get you through your day.
It's
That's
fine.
it.
Don't feel bad if you want to stream us on your TV. It's totally fine. We're ready for it. It's good.
We are. We are. So please, 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 you guys listen. Come on and follow us around here to the social media and get on SpeakPipe and tell us what you got going on because we want to hear. You see how we just help people to do their work over there on I'm the Asshole? We can help you too.
And we'll be nice to you because you listen to us.
Exactly. And we get it. So that's the best part is that we're
Yeah.
not all like, you're bad and wrong. We're like, you know what? We
Get it.
understand how difficult life can be because it's very nuanced. There's not a right or a wrong way to do a lot of different things. There are many ways to get to, the sum of six. So,
I wholeheartedly agree.
yes.
Really.
All
I
right.
shall see you next week.
Next week, we're going to do it. You guys, until next time. Bye.
Bye.